Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another tier list video. Before I get started with anything, I just want to say I know it's been a while since the last video. School and all that. But here we are. It's another Caretaker video, but this time we're doing a tier list of all the tracks from An Empty Bliss Beyond This World, Everywhere at the End of Time, and Everywhere an Empty Bliss, arguably his three most famous albums. So let's start with the first track. All you are going to want to do is get back there. And I might as well just play some of these tracks in the background. And so this is our first track. It's a pretty awesome opening. It really gives off that sense of loneliness, but also nostalgia, which is what the album is really known for. I think I'll put it in S for now, since I think it's a really iconic track, and it's a really catchy one at that. Next we have Moments of Sufficient Lucidity. While not as great as the first track, it still is pretty catchy and pretty calming. Overall, I'd have to give it an A. The Great Hidden Sea of the Unconscious is one of the few songs that doesn't loop. I think that makes it pretty unique, and I like how it builds up and then relaxes at the end. And it definitely feels vast, as the title would suggest, so put it in A tier. Labette's Delay is an iconic track, incredibly catchy, one of the best Caretaker songs, so I think I'll put it at the top for now. It's just I feel as if I might be finishing. Not a bad track, but it does repeat a lot, and there isn't really much to it. For now, I'll just put it in B tier. Next is the first Empty Bliss Beyond This World title track. It has a really catchy melody, and I like the noises in the background, so for now I'd have to give it probably A tier. Next is Better Deep and Long-Term Memory. Another one where I don't really have much to say, not too catchy. However, this one is a relationship with the sublime. It's a pretty catchy one, and as sad it sounds like rain. I've always kind of liked that, especially that title too. So for now, I think I can put it in E tier. Next up is Mental Caverns Without Sunshine. Again, not another bad track, just one that loops a lot, and there isn't really much to say. Next is Pard Back to the Minimal. Yet another track I have to say something similar. I guess it's a little catchy, but it's a very short loop. So Caverns Without Sunshine too. Probably gonna put it around here since it's very similar to the first, just a bit shorter. Next is the second An Empty Bliss Beyond This World. It has a higher pitch, and I think that makes it more mysterious sounding, so I'll put it above the first. Next up is Tiny Gradations of Loss. This is a pretty good track, and I think it is pretty catchy, so for now I might just have to say probably bottom of A tier. And while we're at it, I guess I'll move The Great Hidden Sea of the Unconscious up to A, S tier. Next is Camaraderie at Arm's Length. This is an incredibly catchy track, and I love that title, and I think it might be my favorite Caretaker track in general, so obviously, it's gotta be at the top. Next is Sublime is Disappointing and Elusive. A really stellar track. I love how grand and farewell it feels, and also, well, disappointed. I love that title, and overall, it's a fantastic way to end the album, although we do have the bonus tracks. But for now, I think I'll have to give it, yeah, that'll be good. Next is the two bonus tracks, Fleeting Dreams. It's a pretty catchy one. I'd have to say it's an easy A tier. Next is the final track for An Empty Bliss Beyond This World, Their Story's Loss. I think I'll put it here, and I think I might move some of these down here. They're not bad, just not really much to say. And we're finally at Everywhere at the End of Time. So we're gonna put A1 in S tier since it's, an iconic track. A2 is pretty good. It's pretty calming, but also melancholy. I think I might put it in A tier. A3 is pretty good, although not as good, so I'll probably put it below A2. It's very calming though, just like A2. This is an incredibly catchy one. One of my favorites from stage one. So overall, I think I'm gonna have to put it around here. I think that's good. Next is A5. Pretty catchy, and while not one of my favorites in stage one, it definitely is iconic and pretty important. So I think I might have to put it in probably B tier. Pretty good though. A6, not bad, just not too memorable, so I think I'm just gonna put it below A5 for now. Pretty calming though. B1 is pretty catchy, although I will admit the loop does go on for a bit too long. It's still a great track. Probably going to put it here. Next is B2, another catchy one, although short, but I do like it a lot, so I might just have to put it here. All the tracks in stage 1 are great. They all feel very homey and nostalgic. I guess that's kind of the point. Next we have B3, another really catchy one. Honestly, I might have to put it somewhere around here. I think this is good for now. Next we have B4, another really catchy and soothing one. I think I will put it... Honestly, I think that's good for now. Next is B5, Into Each Other's Eyes, my personal favorite from stage 1. It's a really catchy one, so I think I'll just put it a little over Childishly Fresh Eyes. And the finale of stage 1 is really great, so I think I'll have to put it right here. Looks good. Or maybe I'll put it over a Relationship with Sublime. Next we have C1, one of my personal favorite tracks. It is pretty important, and a great opener for stage 2. So I think I'll put it here for now. C2 is my favorite track, not just from stage 2, but Everything Enough Time as a whole. It's incredibly melancholy, but also full of hope, which is strange, but interesting. So it's definitely going to be an S tier. Next we have C3, which is the return of Heartaches, but obviously a lot more broken now. For now, I think I'll put it right above the Stories list. Next up is C4, another pretty interesting one and definitely disturbing. It's surprisingly memorable, even though I don't really think about it too much, so I might just put it over C1 for now. Next is C5, a really melancholy one, although similar to C1, so I think I'll put it right next to it. Next is D1, I Still Feel As Though I Am Me. I know some of these I'm not really reading out the full title, but that if it does get a little confusing though, I'll say some of these. So I feel as if I'm still me. This is a pretty good one. I really like how the track opens and ends. So for now, I think I'll have to put it right here. Next is D2, Quiet Dust Coming Our Way. It's an incredibly sad, but also dignified track. There's a lot to say about it. It goes at the top of A tier. I might just move it to S. D3 I absolutely love. It's incredibly catchy, but it also feels like it's collecting itself after D2. Last one was a pure recall. Next we have Denial Unraveling, another really good one. It's a pretty catchy one, and certainly interesting. And next we have D5, the famous closer for stage 2, The Way a Fat Head Feels Lonely. I love it so much, it doesn't really loop, and it's just a great way to end off the stage. So honestly, I think this is a good spot. Maybe I'll put it above. All you're going to want to do is get back there. Next is E1, Back There Benjamin. Incredibly famous track, and I think it's better than Lovette's Delay. It's incredibly horrifying coming off of stage 2, so I'm going to put it there. Next we have E2, another really awesome track. I might just put it here in S tier. It's one of my favorite versions of Heartaches. Honestly, it's kind of hard to decide whether I like it more than A1 though. But for now, I'll just leave it here. E3, not really much to say, but more memorable than some other tracks. So I think I'll put it here for now. Next we have E4, another catchy one, similar to E1 since it has the same sample, Goodnight My Beautiful. I think this would be a good spot to put it here. Again, I might move these two tracks up to S tier. E5, not really much to say. It sticks out, but I don't know, not really much to say. Next we have E6, incredibly catchy one, I love it a lot. I think I'll put it at top of S tier, Sublime Beyond Loss, because although I wouldn't say it's one of my particular favorites, it's really catchy and there's a lot about it that's memorable. E7 is really disturbing, bewildered in others' eyes. So I think I'll put it here for now. And you know what, I might as well just move these up to S tier. Next is E8. This is another one of my personal favorites. My favorite is stage 3. It sounds so broken, but also together, and I love that name, Long-Term Dust Glimpses. So I think it might just be in my top 3. Next we have F1, an interesting track. It took a long time to find the sample. And it definitely sounds unique, something similar to Empty Bliss Beyond This World. So I think for now, I think this is good. Next we have F2, incredibly catchy but also melancholic track. Kind of hard to rank, but I do love it a lot, so I'm gonna put it here for now. Next we have F3, another track where there isn't much to say, but it is really haunting in a sense, so I think I'll have to put it below A3. Next we have F4. This is another really good version of Heartaches. It sounds so broken. I'm not sure if I'll put it in S tier, but it's really good. I think this is good for now. F5, I have to be honest, this is my least favorite Never Working of Time, but that doesn't make it bad. It just means it's a very empty and short track. I can't say it's a filler track, none of these really are, but this is one of my favorites. F6 is a really catchy track, but also haunting. I think I might have to put it pretty high in S tier. I love it a lot. Next we have F7. F7 is pretty good, and it's definitely another really catchy one, and it's actually the similar to the track that's playing right now, Levette's Away, just a lot more slowed down. So I think this might be a good spot to put it. Again, everything in S tier and A tier I love. We have our final stage 3 track, the last coherent one, Mournful Camaraderie. Probably put it right below F4, perhaps a little higher. It's hard to say since they're both similar tracks, but it does have the droning, so it has that. It's a great way to end off stage 3, fantastic. And we're getting to some of the shorter stages now. We have stage 4. G1 is pretty good. It's going to be harder to rank some of these, but I think this might be a good spot for now. Not one of my favorite post-awareness tracks, but I still don't like it a lot. I think this is good. Next we have H1. It's an iconic track for the Siren segment, and it just sounds a lot more broken, especially with Levette's Away. So I think here at S tier is pretty good for now. Next we have Temporary Bliss State. It's a little repetitive, but at the same time it's also important, so I can't really put it that low. I think though that for now this is good. Next we have J1, our final post-awareness confusions track. It's a pretty calming one, and honestly my favorite of stage 4. So I think I'll put it here. Maybe put it over E7. Same goes with H1. Next we have K1, incredible opener for stage 5. It's so messy and incoherent, but then we have the moments of clarity in the mandolin solo. It's my favorite, one of my favorite of these post-awareness tracks. And I think this is a good spot for now, maybe over here. Next we have L1. L1's my least favorite from stage 5 since there isn't really anything that stands out to me. It feels like a continuation of K1 because they're both advanced in black entanglements. However, it's not bad though. So I think a good spot for now would probably be below A3. M1 is another really good one. It sounds calm but also defeated. I really like that about it, so I think that I'm gonna have to put it here for now. I also really like the title Synapse Retrogenesis, and the whole theory is interesting of reverse aging in Alzheimer's. Next we have M1, Sudden Time Regression into Isolation. One of my favorite of these tracks, and I love how just defeated it sounds at the end. So it's definitely going to be one of my favorites from stage 5 and as a whole. Now we have 01, incredibly empty sounding track, a confusion so thick you forget forgetting. I think a good spot to put it would be over G1 because I just kind of prefer the way it opens. and how it precedents the rest of stage 6. Next we have P1. It's a lot harsher sounding, although similar. And next we have Q1, which sounds hopeful, especially with all those horns. I really like it, and I think a good spot to put it might be here. And finally, we have the incredible closer, Poison the World Fades Away, where we have Terminal Lucidity. It's a beautiful track, and I think this might be a good place to put it. It's an incredibly somber way to end off the project, and it feels hopeless, but also hopeful at the same time. It's beautiful. Finally, we have the Everywhere Empty Bliss tracks. Here we have Loss of Want back there. It's an incredibly sad and somber song. A lot of songs in the album are like that. And the sample just before the Battle Mother is really interesting. So honestly, I think I'm gonna have to put it in S tier for now. Maybe A tier. I'm not too sure. An Empty Everywhere. Not a bad track, just a pretty empty one, as the title would suggest. It's one of these shorter post-awareness sounding tracks in here. Not really much to say. Next we have I Might Be Vanishing, which is pretty much the same one that's playing right now, but it's only 9 seconds long because it doesn't loop. It also has 2 versions for whatever strange reason, the digital and the CD version, even though they're the same. And it's a different pitch, but either way, don't really like it that much. This is Empty Beyond. It's a pretty catchy one, and honestly I think I'll have to put it above L1. Next we have Losing Battle of Loss. There's another similar track, but they're both really good. And I think a good place to put it for now would be over F7. My Heart Is True is one of these really awesome CD tracks. I love it a lot, so I think S tier is good. This looks pretty good for now. Next we have Advanced Black Camaraderie, one of these great post-awareness tracks. I like how it uses Elusive Sunshine and kind of foreshadows it. I do like it quite a bit, so I think this is good. Also, I might move some of these down to B tier. But it is a pretty great track. So I think this is good for now. Next is All Eyes Bewildered, which is Bewildered in Others' Eyes, but longer. Not as disturbing, and I think it's more significant at Working on the Time, but still really great here, and I think I prefer it. Next is Glimpses of Life Denial, one of these voice tracks. It's incredibly incoherent, and the buzzing noise in the background is just so strange. It's a pretty iconic track, so I think it deserves A tier. Maybe a little higher. Next is Equinox Eyes Will Stop, another catchy one, although not too much to say. I think a pretty good place to put it might be here. Losing Loss of Battle is pretty much the same thing, but a little shorter, so I'll just put it there. Incredibly melancholy and quiet track though. Brackets Advanced Despair takes 2 tracks from Selected Memories in the Haunted Ballroom and makes them be a post-awareness track. Not really much to say, so I'll just put it here. Benjamin Beyond Bliss is a short voice track where you can hear clips of Leighton and Johnston talking. Another iconic one. I like it quite a bit, so honestly, I think this is good. Drifting Sublime Hope has 2 versions. The CD version isn't reverse, and it's a lot more catchy that way, so I think this is a good spot in S tier. Yeah. Then we have the reverse version of the track. I can't say it's worse, because it is pretty much just the same thing, just reversed, but it's not as catchy because, well, it's reversed. So I think this would be a good place to put it for now. I do like how it sounds though. Lonely Way Ahead is pretty much what D5 was going to be, but it's a rare track in the CD version. I like it quite a bit, so I think this is good. Minimal All You Are is similar to Equinox Eyes Will Stop, but a little more melancholy sounding. Hidden Minimal C is a really great sounding post-awareness track. It sounds so empty, like something out of Stage 6, but there were some little blips here and out. I think this is good. Internal Unravel is another one of these empty sounding tracks. I like it quite a bit, so I think this is good. Maybe a bit lower. Next up, we have Dusk's Memory Fraction. Another really disturbing voice track. I think this is a good spot to put it for now. I might put A1 a little higher, not too sure. Next we have Entanglement Synapsake, another one of these really great post-awareness tracks. I think this is a good spot to put it for now. I like the use of False Memory Syndrome, which is one of the best tracks before all the Dementia albums. And these final two tracks are both incredible in their own right. Elusive Sunshine, it's this grand farewell for the CD version. It's super good, and it's definitely top 10 material. But I think, and Bliss, Everywhere Bliss, this is the digital version ending, but it's completely different because it's a lot more quiet and somber and a beautiful way to end. So yeah, that's my tier list. As you can see, not too many stuff near the bottom, although we do have a lot at the top. If I would rank these albums from worst to best, well, that would be hard to do. But I think 8 would be Stage 4, because not too many tracks are that great, but it still is pretty interesting, if a bit repetitive, because of I1. Next would probably be Stage 6. Pretty empty sounding, but still really good. Also, although it's kind of hard to decide between Stage 4 and between Stage 5 and Stage 6, they're both really good sounding. Next up would probably be Stage 1, which is really good and really catchy. Then Stage 2, which is a lot more melancholy, but has some great tracks like C2. But I think the top 3 would be F4 and Empty Bliss, because it's so dynamic and all of its melancholy, but also disturbing tracks. Then an Empty Bliss Beyond This World, because it's just so iconic. And Stage 3 for its variety. So thank you for watching this video. There's definitely a longer one, but it's awesome to talk about the Caretaker. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.